This is a video on organizing yourself and your life and your work and your future. And it's pretty simple. First, you have the paper you, the event you, the video you, the web you, and the design you. In any of those, you can be a presence, a person, a mensch. Or in them, many of them, you can not exist. The tragedy of our time is TV, while I was growing up, the last 50 years, was a new medium where if you existed on TV, good or bad, you had power and connections and influence and a following. If you didn't exist on TV, no matter the worth of your ideas and contributions, you didn't exist. TV propelled you far beyond face-to-face. So existing face-to-face was valued and rewarded less than existing in the TV medium. In our day, TV's been replaced by video and the video on the web. But it's not the only way to be present on the web. Being present on the web requires the full panoply of presence on the web, including blogging and friending and trending and Pinterest and photo posting and the like. Being present on paper is sort of a printout from your presence on the web. You need to represent yourself in documents on the web as part of the web, and then just printing them out or making them available as PDFs is your presence in document form. And then your presence in design form is that finally every presence you have is styled and prioritized, and therefore designed, and with a typicalness that's present to people. It could be a typicalness you like and intended. It could be a typicalness you don't like and don't intend. But in any case, you have the possibility of taking responsibility and projecting it. Second, you have three kinds of time: reactive time, proactive time, and reflective time. We all do. Reactive time has to do with someone hits a ball in your court, you hit the ball back. In general, don't hit the ball back until a day after they hit the ball in your court. Make every reaction wait. When reactions wait, they are less emotive, more reasonable, and with less fear, and usually of higher quality. So delayed reacting is almost always better than immediate reacting. Proactive time is building things for the future, investing in things which may or may not work out, building foundations. You have a chance to be lucky if you try a lot of things. If you don't try a lot of things, you have less chance to be lucky. Reflective time is not reactive time, and people make the mistake. Reflective time is orienting yourself to all the bits and pieces and the whole, and re-representing who you are and what everything coming to you is. Building models, organizing ideas, prioritizing to-do lists, imagining vacations, reading that takes you out of what you were doing, etc., etc. Personal strategy is choosing where to put yourself and what to ride there. And like the web has given us the laser-like ability to choose a community of people and get known by them in a few days or weeks of emailing. You choose Silicon Valley, you want to be known there, and you start searching for blogs and forums and news places about Silicon Valley, and you'll find key players making comments on forums there where you can make comments on their comments. And by appreciating where they're coming from and extending what they want to do with some information and some resources, you can come to their attention, then email an article to them and get permanently on a friend list for them. So within say 3 weeks of systematic message sending, you can build relations and contacts. Of course, they've got to have a presence of you in video on the web, in documents on the web, in networks on the web, in design appearance on the web. And then it would help if you have events that you can deliver to them, should they develop interest in you, specific ones. That was one of the weaknesses on my web presence that I've got to work on, is I don't have small, cheap, fast, biteable events for someone to say, well, bring him over for 4 hours, or bring him over for an hour and have him do that. Performance culture. Your performance culture versus their performance culture. They want you to work hard without reward, and you want to do minimal work and get big reward. You should never live in their performance culture, and you should always live in both performance cultures. Leverage from higher standards. Never absorb standards from the people around you and the people who hire you. Always work at higher standards than the people around you. Because, believe it or not, civilization's top universities instill extremely vulgar and indecent standards into people, especially in the 21st century. Never, never, never lower yourself to the standards of the people around you. Orthogonal living and careering. This means reinventing who you are and what direction you head in after each victory in your life. You project a new you from each victory, and then that goes in different directions. So your life is never building in a straight line. It's always going off at a new angle each time you have a victory. The creator requisites. Creativity requires interior emotional room, exterior time and schedule and facility room. It requires embracing paradox enough that you can do wide-ranging mental travel. And it requires accumulating a lot of small inventions of tool, facility, and idea that make you terribly productive in some direction, so that your productions amaze people. Bridge communities. You cannot grow and do self-change if you stay with the same friends and acquaintances. And so you need to regularly engage in bridge communities where the people demand and expect something better and different out of you than the people who've already gotten to know you. There are people who amazingly do this. A 60-year-old woman in Chicago who went to the World Science Fiction Convention simply because she didn't know anything about science fiction. That's the kind of stretching you can do. There are 8 dimensions of self-development. Self-development, social development, intellect development, and career development. And there are 4 dimensions of engagement in life. Job for money, life work for love, profession for people with a similar job who want their next job, and then hobbying for relaxation. Those 8, self, social, intellect, career development, job, life work, profession, hobby development, you work on each week. The dynamics and stories from interesting careers. This is a paper I've written with a whole bunch of models in it, with 256 or so tools and approaches and techniques gotten from people we interviewed who were reported to have had the most interesting careers in each of 63 professions in 41 nations. Development stages. There are stages in the development of power. In Rollo May's books, there's development stages in development of self. We have Robert Kagan's books. There are development stages in media, and there are development stages in mind extensions. Choose baby fields to invest in, because small investments are easy and not so critically evaluated when a field is a baby field and brand new. You can try a lot of things and get them noticed and published and build on them. The problem with a baby field is you don't feel powerful and important because it's a tiny field, no one recognizes you. However, they grow. And if you choose baby fields wisely, 1, 2, or 3 out of the 3 baby fields you choose will 10 years, 15 years later end up being very, very serious and important. Get on the cover of all the magazines and suddenly it's worth money. So investing in baby fields is something about every 10 years you should seriously look at. Visitation circuits and entertainment rhythms. We can't all be in all places at all times. But we can have a circuit, a regular rhythm of visiting certain interesting places around us. There's for example, fashion district in Tokyo with cafes where designers hang out. And I had delayed for 2 years going there and went there the other day. It was amazing. And the conversations, the context, the possibilities that opened up just from drinking coffee in a particular place instead of some other place. Of course, I had to take the train for 40 minutes to get there. Mind extension maintenance. It isn't your brain that makes you intelligent. It's tools outside of your brain that make you intelligent. And therefore, your smartness to other people and richness of idea to other people comes from their exposure to your mind extensions, your file system, your web file presence, your videos on the web, your models and organizing frameworks, um, your event designs, your cognitive architecture, cognitive furniture, cognitive apparel. Their exposure to that is how they become intelligent by meeting you. And then managing and organizing and harnessing appetites. The appetite for money, for sex, for food, for status, for avoiding error. The managing the animal in you is a kind of difficulty that we all have, because modern society constantly pushes us to the animal level in order to sell things in the vulgar economy of capitalism. And so there are billions and billions of ads and images and forces trying to strengthen and use the animal in you to get you to give money to somebody. And so we live drenched in an environment of vulgar animality, and have to remember that that's unnatural, that's sick, and it's modern, and that 99% of it is venal just for the profit of some individual and actually harms most ordinary people.